John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing a head that I've tested in the past, but it's a head that I really like. And so with my newer regimen, I thought I'd put it through another test, okay, a new updated test. And that is the Iron Will Wide Single Bevel. This has become one of my go-to broadheads that I really like keeping in my quiver because it just inflicts a lot of damage and just does a fantastic job. So for this test, I'm going to be using my regimen for 2025. And for a detailed description of that, please check out the video I posted earlier this year called 2025 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll walk you through that. And I'm going to be using my Elite Carbon Eon bow, my new one, for most of the shooting. But then for the flight testing, I'm going to be using my Killer Instinct Logix crossbow, which I'm really loving as well. And for all of the arrows, I'm using Bishop Archery arrows and bolts because they're just that good. All right, let's zoom in here, go through some of the design features and specifications, and then put this Iron Will Wide Single Bevel to the test. Here's a good look at this head, and man, this is just a high quality broadhead right here. Whenever you look at an Iron Will or feel an Iron Will, you do not wonder where your money went. I say that all the time. It continues to be the case. So let's break down the materials. First of all, the ferrule on this 125 grain model, the ferrule is a grade 5 titanium, and then the blades are an A2 tool steel brought to a Rockwell hardness of 60. And A2 tool steel, one of the big advantages to it is not only can it get a hard Rockwell hardness, but it has a tremendous resistance to impact, about 2.5 times as much as typical 420 stainless steel. So that means it's much less prone to get nicked up and getting shattered on the edge like that. And that's especially good for a single bevel like this. This is a single bevel, and you notice every blade from the back to the front and these bleeders as well is single bevel sharpened at a 32-degree bevel. Now the total diameter in this wide model is 1 3/8 inches this way and 3/4 of an inch this way, giving you a total cut of 2 1/8 inches. So you're really getting a lot of cut. That's kind of like the cut of a big mechanical, but you're getting that in a fixed blade. And you'll also notice some of the design features. This tanto tip, you see how the tip kind of angles a little bit closer there. Instead of just going straight, it has another angle. That's just to beef up the tip and give it a little bit more durability. And it's also sharpened on the back side there for that same purpose. It's just going to aid in penetration as well as durability. And you can get these either right bevel or left bevel based on how your bow shoots and based on your fletching. The total length is 1.38 inches beyond the end of the arrow, and the blades are 0.062 inches thick. So not only are they a really high quality steel, but they also have a good thickness to them. Now again, this is listed at 125 grain. By my measurement, it came out at 126 grain, which is fantastic. The price of these is $43.33 each, and you can use my discount code LUSKFREESHIP to get you free shipping on any order. And for resharpening, I would use the Stay Sharp Guide 32-degree guide. They make a really nice single bevel guide called their 32-degree guide, which works perfectly with these. Really look forward to putting these to the test and seeing how they perform. The Iron Will Wide Single Bevel got the 8 ring. It took 141 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a proportional bonus for being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated 7.5 inches. It only took an additional 8 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.84 on a 10-point scale. Additionally, it's going to get an extra bonus for both the sharpness and the edge retention being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated through 51 layers, which is a 7.3 on a 10-point scale. It rotated 12 degrees at 11 inches. It looks brand new after the 3 shots through the MDF. And it's still in fantastic shape after the 2 shots through the steel plate. There's just the slightest bit of edge chatter on each of the blades. And then you can see the holes. Man, what classic S-cut shaped holes you get from this nice single bevel broadhead here, especially with those bleeders. And since I was testing both at the same time, I thought it'd be cool to show this image of the original size single bevel with bleeders on the left, and then the wide size, the single bevel with bleeders on the right, both in 125 grains, and both made really nice holes. But man, those holes from the wide make a significant difference. Here it is after all the durability testing, and just outstanding durability as you would expect from iron will. The bleeders held together great through the MDF and the steel plate. The blades held together really well. A little bit of edge chatter there. That's just because of the relatively gradual, I think it's 32 degrees bevel. But that's just very minor. And again, that's on 2 shots into steel plate. And then into the cinder block, it looks like it went about that deep into the cinder block, and a little tiny bit of edge chatter there, but that tanto tip really held up well, and it's still very pointy and spins almost perfectly there. So what'd you think? Man, these heads just perform. I mean, I knew they would do well because I've tested them before, but they just did all the better with my new regimen. And I've hunted with them. I recently used them on a hog hunt. They performed incredibly well on a hog hunt. They're just a fantastic all-round broadhead to consider, especially if you're not shooting really far distances beyond 50, 60, 50 yards, I'd say. They can get a little squirrely in flight, a little touchy, and that's where I like using the original size. But 50 and under, man, they are just one cool broadhead to consider. But you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most, and see if it might be a good fit for you. And stay tuned for the overall cumulative score, as well as the corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can offer just to save you some money, like the Iron Will. I got a new discount code if you use Lusk Free Ship. All one word, no spacing, Lusk Free Ship. You get free shipping on any order. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.